You see this man right here? Well, he just happens to be an Oklahoma football legend. But not only is he that, he's also my old man at the same time. And you know how that old saying goes. It's hard to replace a legend. And not only do I happen to share his last name, but I also happen to share his first. I'm the second of Maurice Royal. And this right here is the story of how I break out of my old man's shadow and forge my own path in a football life. Welcome to the RTG of Maurice Royal Jr., the son of a legendary player. Let's get it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a little bit of a mini series here on the Oklahoma high school football mod, using that college football revamp as well. And welcome to the Maurice Royal Jr. RTG. And we are playing as a running back here in this series, and we are going to see his entire high school career play out. And the goal of this RTG, man, it's plain and simple, man. Play as well and play as hard as we can. And let's see if we can get some scholarship offers so that we can play at that Division I level. Let's see if we can actually make it to that level or not. So, should be a fun series, man. I hope you guys enjoy it. Do me a favor real quick, though. Make sure to go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. And with that being said, so excited to get this freshman year underway. And in this freshman year, you know, Maurice Royal Jr., man, he is an absolute stud muffin, right? So Maurice Royal Jr. actually comes in as a phenom. I mean, has that natural football talent. You know, his daddy, you know, was such a great football player at the University of Oklahoma, coming in at 84 overall. So he's actually going to come in and be the, you know, solidified starter behind, you know, these two other guys right here. Really excited to see what he can do. Has a lot that he can bring to the table, and it should lead to a productive freshman year, hopefully. But with that said, let's go ahead and dive right into what is our schedule for our incoming freshman season, right? So in our freshman season, starts off pretty easy. You know, we got US Grant, Greenwood Bulldogs are also in here as well. We also go on the road to take on Ringley and Sulphur High Schools as well. And then we get into the meat of our sectional play. We got the Beggs Devils, we got Fairview, Bridge Creek, and Sand Springs as well. Last 4 games this season might be our toughest. Lincoln Christian is ranked, Guthrie is ranked in the top 25, and then we close out with road games against Stroud and a home game against Bristol as well. And if it works our way, maybe we can be just good enough to make it to the state playoffs, win a state championship during our time here. But with that being said, let's not waste any more time here, baby, and let's jump right into this very first game of our freshman year. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The high school debut of Maurice Royal Jr. Now, this should be a somewhat straightforward game, taking on US Grant, and you see the overall difference between us and US Grant. We should have this one taken care of with ease because our offense should be just overpowering, but our offensive debut starts inside the 5-yard line, so we had to get ourselves out of the end zone, right? You know, it's just a tough spot to be in whatsoever. Let's see if we can get our first catch of our career, and we do in open space, and nearly able to make somebody miss. Nice show of hands there by Maurice Jr., who does end up picking up that first down. But we'll go ahead and pick things up here in the second quarter, where Maurice Royal Jr. is looking to go to work, and Maurice Royal Jr. actually nearly picks up the first down there. But with there being penalties, we have to be set back a little bit, and our quarterback is gonna throw an interception. Like, bro, you literally threw that to him. Like, what are we actually doing right now? That's tough to see. So it was a promising drive for us, but does not end in any points whatsoever. But I am going to make this nice catch in open field, though, and that will result in yet another first down. And we'll see if we can keep it going here, trying to pick up another one on the ground. We get walloped for a gain of 5. actually surprisingly having a tough time finding any kind of space, as we'll look over to the left-hand side, and that's going to be the first touchdown. Kason Kamenis is going to find the end zone. Camden 6-killer is going to have his first passing touchdown of the season, while we were chilling in the backfield and blocking for him. And we will take a 7-0 lead over U.S. Grant. However, U.S. Grant will finish with a touchdown themselves, and actually going into the second half might be a little bit of an upset alert on our hands. I mean, we did start the season in that Max Preps top 25, but we're certainly not doing ourselves any favors, and Maurice Royal almost took that to the crib. But it's going to be a shoestring tackle, so instead it's only going to be a 7-yard gain for us there. One thing that Maurice Royal is good at is following his blocks, but just as he was starting to find a little bit of rhythm, he did have to come out of the game. He did hurt himself a little bit there. And so now we do thankfully get to see him back a little bit later. But we did miss out on seeing our guys score a touchdown. We do have a 14-7 lead that we do get to work with. Let's see if we can do something here on this particular drive, though. 1st and 10 in the red zone. Gonna follow the blocks to the outside, and we're gonna set ourselves up with a nice little goal line opportunity. Gain of 12 on the play. And now we got to see if we can find that end zone here. 6-killers trying to pitch it inward, but it's going to be fumbled at the 1-yard line. So again, we continue to shoot ourselves in the foot. We had a couple of turnovers in this game, which you don't love to see. You do, however, love to see Maurice Royal getting out into that open space. He's going to pick up a gain of 20 there on the halfback screen. And while he hasn't had that big run that we wanted to see, he has been able to flash some good hands here in this first game of the season, as that particular catch from Carson Sampson, that should be enough to put this one away finally. I'm a little disappointed for how we played overall offensively, and if we want to make a deep run and have a legitimate shot at the state playoffs in my freshman year, I do know that we gotta play significantly better, but do have a chance to put this game on ice as we'll try to run it up the middle, and we easily pick up the first down. We're gonna force U.S. Grant to start using some of these timeouts here as we're getting to the last couple minutes of this game. U.S. Grant is officially out of timeouts, so one more first down, and that will officially get the job done. As now, less than 90 seconds left in the game, Maurice is going to run it up the middle, and that's going to be a first down again for your Timberwolves. And we're going to be named player of the game as well in our opening game. Put together some good stat line overall. Around 180 total yards of offense, as that will be more than enough to beat U.S. Grant here at home to get this season started. A little bit more low scoring than what I wanted. Only 21-15 being your final score. But, hey, we're only going to get better from here, baby. I can tell you that. So let's see if we can do exactly that as we go into our next game of the season. This time we're taking on a much smaller program. We are taking on this Greenwood Bulldog squad, and they are absolute cheeks, man. 63 overall across the board. If we don't feast in this particular game, I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a problem. As we're going to go ahead and get started here. Nice little dump off for me here as I face multiple defenders. And we'll pick up a first down to keep the chains moving. As the very next play, they'll go to me on the ground. And look at this hole. Absolutely massive of a hole for Maurice Royal Jr. And his first carry is going to gash Greenwood. Good for a gain of 17. You love to see it. But we don't touch the ball again until we get into the red zone. And we got to get a little skinny with it. Oh, baby! Touchdown, Maurice Royal Jr. That's going to be the first time that we see the young freshman find the end zone, showing that sneaky athleticism like his daddy. As that is how we'll see this young man find the end zone for the first time at least like in gameplay, man. I know we kind of got a simulated touchdown when I thought I was hurt in the last game, but hey, we're gonna get more used to that in a little bit. But that being said, Greenwood is actually taking it right to us, though. Greenwood actually has the lead, so gotta, we still got plenty of football left to play, but that's a little concerning. But this is not concerning, though. Maurice just bouncing off defenders, as now that does end up leading into a field goal. So we do tie it up at 10 apiece there. But with that being said, less than 2 minutes left. Got a couple of timeouts to work through. Let's see if we can make something shake here as we'll go to Cavanis, who gets away from the entire Greenwood squad. And we will take this lead into the halftime locker room, up 17-10. That being said, though, we'll get into this second half of the Greenwood game as Maurice Royal is going to bounce it back to the left, to the right, to the left there, y'all. And he is going to hop his way to, looks like about the 40 to 45 yard line. Not a lot of carries for Maurice Royal, but he is going to close in on 100 yards on the day. Could very well be tracking to another player of the game honors. But with that being said, late in the third quarter, we saw our guys score yet again. Let's see if we can hit 100 yards on this particular drive, as it looks like we might be getting another handoff. And oh, let me hit that hole. Let me hit that hole. Oh, I get shoestring tackled again, bro. Like, we got to get a little bit faster, man. I'm not going to lie to you, man. Like, we got to get a little bit faster. If it's going to be like this the entire season, then you know what we got to do in that weight room, man. We got to work on them speed drills, man. We got to get a little faster. Got to get a little skinnier. And we got to get better blocks like that. Oh, my goodness. That was a big old hole right there, man. 10-yard gain, and we just casually walk in to a 120 yard performance. Could have just kneeled it here, but coach wanted to run it in to the end zone, and so we're gonna just pound it in there. No diddy, as Maurice Royal is gonna get a second touchdown. I got the hiccups. That's sexy. Not as sexy as his stat line, though. Over 6 yards a carry in a really big win. 2 touchdowns as well. We get named player of the game once again. And most importantly, we get that win. We win big in this one here, man. We end up winning 41-10. And now we're really starting to find that rhythm offensively. Let's see if we can carry that through for the rest of the season. Now, that being said, third game of the year. We're going on the road for the very first time. Now, I know we started the year 2-0, but those 2 games are at home. And one of the most difficult things that you can do is actually trying to win on the road. And that certainly applies at any level, regardless of whether it's high school, college, or even the pros. So let's see if we can get it done here against this Ringwing Blue Devils squad, as we'll go ahead and get the opening carry as we're trying to get a little skinny here. Breaks a couple of tackles, and we do end up falling forward for a gain of 8. Nice start for your boy. The next carry won't happen till a couple of minutes later, though, where we get another carry up the gut, and we go for another gain of 10 there. We were off to a pretty good start here, but unfortunately the drive did end up stalling out on us. We weren't used again in a meaningful way on that drive. And of course, Ringwing is going to respond and get a touchdown late in the first quarter. So now, 1st and 10 coming up. It's going to run up the gut with Maurice Royal. Going to pick up yet another first down. Gain of 12 there. That does take us through the end of the first quarter. But with that being said, our team as a whole, we are struggling right now. Oh, look at that cut, though. You see how I put that man out of his shoes. You'll love to see it, baby. We might need to do a little bit more of that here. I'm not going to lie to you. Down 20-3. Oh, I'm open. Oh, let me hit him in the open field. And I can't shake and bake him. But I do end up picking up a decent chunk of yards. But again, another drive that just does not go anywhere. So, I mean, we're certainly doing our job, man. We are certainly doing our very best. But it just has not really gotten anywhere, though, as Six Killer is going to try to wind up deep downfield. Does find Carson Sampson for a 54-yard strike, so maybe we do find a little bit of lady luck on our side. And we're only going to end up being down by 10 at the half. However, in that second half, we're going to keep it rolling here with Maurice Royal Jr. And Jr. is going to pick up another close first down, almost picking it up on his own. We do pick it up on the very next play where after that, do a little counter action to the left, and we pick up another 7 yards there on the ground. As we got a 1st and 10 coming up midway through the third quarter, trying to run it with Maurice Royal, trying to bounce it back to the outside. Didn't like that original hole, and we end up picking up a few extra yards because we did end up bouncing it out to that outside. As Royal again is going to get another carry up the middle for a gain of 12. And here we are closing in on another 100-yard gain. We're right there. Can we punch it in the end zone, though, is that million-dollar question. But we hurt ourselves, bro. We hurt ourselves there, man. Thankfully, we were able to come back on the very next drive. Would have been caught for a loss, but hey, you're never going to catch me lacking in the backfield. You already know what time it is. As we already pick up that first down, those 100 yards, baby. Let's go, man. So starting our high school career with 3 100-yard gains. And now we got a big important job here. We want to try to finish this game out. Tight game. Going to the last 3 minutes of the ball game as Royal's going to try to run for the first down. He's got it. Just continuously being just an absolute bowling ball right now. As we try to set up the halfback screen. Got to get away from this linebacker. But hey, we get ourselves out of bounds. No, we actually did not. Thought we end up getting out of bounds there, but I was mistaken, man. I was absolutely mistaken. But with that being said, no harm, no foul. But with that said, another one of our drive stalls out. So we're just trying to do our best to do anything. And Six Killer just makes an awful decision. I genuinely did not see what he was seeing, right? Like, I was running my original route, trying to be a good team player and all. I was double covered, though. So, for all intents and purposes, this game is over. Coach just wants to run it out, but I get hurt on literally the last play of the game, bro. Like, the very last play of the game, of course, I would get hurt. And we end up taking our very first loss of the season. We lose to the Ringling Blue Devils 35-23. Now, even though we didn't find a way to win this game, we still put up a good stat line. We end up going with 26 carries for 137 yards. Did have that rushing touchdown, which that might have been when I thought we were injured, and turns out we were not, matter of fact. So that's probably how that happened, but good stat line nonetheless. We also managed to log 6 catches for 51 yards as well, but unfortunately, even with those solid efforts, we did not win against our rivals in Ringling, and that means we do lose our first game of the season. Now, unfortunately, when we were just trying to run out the clock and, coach wanted to pad our stats a little bit, on our last carry of that game, you saw us getting hurt. Well, it ended up being a sprained elbow. And because it ended up being a sprained elbow, that means we are going to be out for at least the next couple of weeks. We will join Kaysen Cabanis, who also got hurt in that game. He broke his ribs, and he's out for the next few weeks himself. And that is a real shame because we actually came into this portion of the season. We come in as actually the 4th leading rusher in the state of Oklahoma with 381 total rushing yards to our name. In other news, we also have 4 rushing touchdowns to go with that as well. And not to mention, we have 13 receptions for 121 yards. So we are off to a solid start to the season. Solid enough, actually, that we were able to garner an interest from a couple of colleges. Now, thankfully, in one of the 2 weeks that we did end up being hurt, one of them did end up being our bye week. So, really love to see that. Got a little bit of a lucky break there. The one game that we did miss was this matchup on the road against the Sulphur Bulldogs, but thankfully we were able to beat the Sulphur Bulldogs 37-23, nearly putting up a season high on the season. Our quarterback, Set Killer, who's also a freshman with us, he ends up putting up over 100 yards passing. And then, not to mention, he also chipped in on the ground with 55 yards and a touchdown. Pretty good game for him, in my opinion. But we'll see ourselves back on the field just a few weeks later, where we'll be taking on the Beggs Devils. Get things started here in sectional play for the first time in our high school careers. We are actually the favorites to come out of this particular part of the state of Oklahoma. We're the only team that's ranked in the Max Preps top 25, and that's even with the one loss that we already have. And on that first drive of the game, we get off to a pretty good start here. We get a nice little 11-yard carry, finally get them juices flowing a little bit. But on that very next carry, though, pick up the first down. But look what happens. We get hurt again. You can't be serious. And it turns out that injury that we suffered on the second drive of the game, well, it ended up being a mild concussion. So that means we're out for the rest of the game. And that means we will have to sit the remainder of this Beggs matchup. Our return game being cut short, unfortunately. But thankfully for us, our guys were able to get the job done late. And while it was closer than expected, we still ended up winning a very close one. Hopefully my injury isn't too serious long term. Now, even though we didn't really have a chance to play in this game, we still nearly was our leading rusher, even though we only had 5 carries on the day. And then our backup, whose name is this right here, he only managed 2 yards a carry. 6 killer, really had to put the team on his back, but credit to him, he was able to get that done. So let's see if we can actually last a little bit longer here in this next one as we take on the Yellow Jackets out of Fairfield on the road. Now, Fairfield got a decent little crowd, but they are not having that, excellent season that they've wanted. 1-5 going into this one, so hopefully we can come out here and make some quick work of this Fairfield team. But with that being said, Fairfield came to play, man. First drive of the game, they came away with some points. They actually do have a lead on us. Let's see if that remains the same here, as we're going to go ahead, take the pitch, and look at this, out in open space down the sideline, and oh, we got shoestring tackled again. But that's our longest run of the season so far, a 25-yard scamper. And it goes for a massive gain. You love to see us executing that triple option to perfection. However, with that being said, we really struggled for that first half. You see us down 17-0. So if we want to come out and win this game, we got to come out and make some big plays. And our quarterback, Camden 6 Killer, he might be ready to make those big plays for us here, man, as maybe I'm ready to make some plays of my own, as we were held in check pretty much for that entire first half, besides a couple of carries that I did have that ended up getting a decent chunk of yards. But here in this third quarter, though, we're starting to make a little bit more noise here once again. Starting to find that groove, starting to find that rhythm once again, as we're already halfway to 100, as we're going to take this carry once again on a 1st and 10, run into a wall of Fairview defenders. We'll still pick up a gain of 6, a solid gain, not a liquid or a gas. But it's important that we pick up this first down, though, and luckily, quarterback dumps it off to me, and I take myself out of bounds just to try to preserve my body a little bit more. Those hits can easily add up as a running back for sure, man, and it's going to set up a touchdown to our boy Brandon Dorney with 4.5 left to play, and we're finally able to tie this thing up. Playing significantly better here in this second half. And now we have a chance to possibly come out and put together a potential game-winning drive. And sure enough, we do exactly that. Well, not exactly. Fairview does actually get a field goal, but we do put together another separate drive that's going to get us into field goal range. And the field goal attempt is good. So we will end up going into overtime here, as now Fairview actually does get it started with a touchdown, but will respond in kind with Jackson Winquist able to find the end zone. It's Camden 6 Killer's second passing touchdown of the night. But you know what, man? Our coach is feeling spicy, and we're gonna go for it here, man. Let's see what we come up with here. Looks like our coach is going to call a pass play, put it in the hands of one of the best young quarterbacks in the state of Oklahoma. Can he finish the deal? Dropping back, six killer, throws and finds Lindquist, and we will end up surviving, beating this Fairfield squad by 1 point. So the good news is that we actually made it through a complete game, but with that being said, even though we made it through a complete game, we were not as effective as what we usually were. Only 18 carries for 73 yards. That is a season low for a complete actual game. Receiving was not much better. Actually, I would venture to say that it was a lot worse, because even though we caught 5 passes today, we only managed to garner 9 yards out of it. So a rough performance all around, but I am happy that we're able to find a way to beat Fairfield on the road. So let's see if we can come out there and play at a higher level in this Bitch Creek matchup that we have. We also have to go on the road for that one. Now, this Bridge Creek team is a little bit better. They're a decent squad, at least offensively, but nothing that we haven't seen before, right? So, to be able to walk in here, handle our business, but that's not how it plays out now, does it? Because here we are most of the way through the first quarter, and we still have not yet scored in this ball game yet. We have not done what we've been supposed to do, because yeah, we have just really struggled offensively, particularly me. I mean, this is only my second highlight, but man, like, we've been locked down like high key. Like, you see the stats, 3 yards a carry, like, that just ain't doing it at all. As now we got a 1st and 10, throwing over the middle. Our guy is gonna pick up the first down, but there's a flag. Oh, don't let this flag be on me. Am I gonna get called for a holding? I am. They literally call a holding on me. So it's 1st and 20. We got ourselves in quite a bit of a hole, but I do make up for it for the most part, get most of that penalty yardage back on that very next run. But yeah, man, the drive is really trying to be stalled out right now, because a couple plays later we had another holding call. So that's why we got brought out to a 2nd and 18. And I'm trying my best, to get our boys, out of it, but it just wasn't enough. We end up missing the field goal, and so we find ourselves down 9-0 as we are closing in on halftime already. We need to put together a drive, and we need to put together that drive yesterday. Let's see if we can run this ball up the gut and maybe like get something shake here, but no, it's gonna audible. We get open over the middle of the field, and it's a 1st down for your boy. 19-yard catch, and we will end up turning that into a field goal eventually. So we do end up getting on the board, but can we actually find the end zone anytime soon? That's been a major problem with our team all night long. We have struggled tremendously in the rain, and they're able to key in on that run a little bit more because of that. I mean, getting that yards per carry average up for this ball game, but still sitting at 3.5 yards a carry. Not a great look for us, but hey, we're just going to continue to chug along, get those tough yards, and maybe we can start sucking this defense in a little bit. No Diddy, as Royal Jr. is going to run again up the gut and nearly picks up the 1st down. We'll see if they give it to me once again. 3rd and inches here. Let's see if we can get it in here for the 1st down, and sure enough, we will very comfortably. We get ourselves our very first red zone opportunity late in the 3rd quarter. And there it is, that play action to Jackson Lindquist, who finds the end zone. Touchdown, Timberwolves! And we will finally have a lead that we can work through. Our first lead of the day. But it's not certainly by much, and we certainly can't be done here. 1st and 10 coming up for us, as we'll take the read option handoff as we cut back to the outside briefly and pick up a few yards out of that. An 8-yard gain for Maurice Royal Jr., who puts us very close to that 100-yard mark. And we might have almost gotten it here on this carry alone, literally 1 yard short. So we had such a putrid first half, but then, we're able to bounce back and have a better second half already. I make a key catch here as well to keep the chains moving. It will end up leading into another field goal. So we do take a 4-point lead, and it's just important that at this point in the game, we just try to run out this clock. Let's not do anything fancy here. Clearly, we did not bring our A game offensively at all, but what we can try and do, let's try and see if we can come out here and run the rest of his clock out. Second and short. You already know what time it is. It's time for your boy to go to work, and there it is, another first down. So the Bobcats of this Bridge Creek squad quickly running out of timeouts after this carry is probably going to be using that last timeout, and we pick up another 6 yards out of it. So one more first down honestly shouldn't do it here, and sure enough, they try to send the blitz. I run right past it, and that is gonna be barbecue chicken after that. So an ugly game for your guys here as the number 9 ranked team in the state of Oklahoma, but that's what the great teams do. They find a way to win even when they don't have that A game. That's what we did, man. All credit to the guys, all credit to our defense for holding it down, but we gotta play so much better offensively if we want to make a run at state this year. Now, even though we do end up going another game without finding the end zone, and it honestly took us at least a half to get going, we actually set ourselves up with a season high in rushing yards. We put up 149 on the night, and while it was an ugly win for our guys, you know, we made some good plays out there today. We even had 4 catches for 56 yards, which was far better and more efficient than what we ended up doing the last time that we stepped on this field. So hopefully we can come out and build upon this, and let's see if we can find that end zone in the next game. But hey man, we find ourselves chilling back at home as we will be taking on this Sand Springs squad. Now, this Sand Springs squad is not something that I'm necessarily scared about, right? Because they can't really pass the ball. So if we can jump on these boys early, we could surely make it a very long day for them, right? So here we go. One of the first drives of the game. I'm going to take this handoff, and I'm going to go ahead, pick up that first down, because you know that's what I do, baby. That's what I do. Pick up that first down. Nice little carry for us. We do end up getting taken off the field, but it does lead to a North Norman touchdown. So we're already up 7-0. Good start. That's what we wanted. So let's see if we can score here on this next drive as well, as I'm going to bounce this off to the outside. I'm still on my feet. I refuse to go down. Got a bunch of babies trying to tackle me, man. Ain't no way y'all trying to come with me with these arm tackles. That's crazy. As I still stay on my feet, these guys can't tackle me. This is what I'm talking about, man. Putting in all of that work, man. Starting to really pay off. Maybe I'm not the fastest guy on the field, but you're going to have a hard time bringing me down initially, man. I'm going to tell you that. That's for sure. And it's really showing out here in this particular game as we continue to pour it on. We actually put together one of the best first halves that I have seen here since I got up to the high school building, man. We put up 33 in the first half. Make that 40 in the first half. Another touchdown for these Timberwolves, man. And our quarterback, my freshman classmate, man, he is killing these guys. 4 touchdown passes in the first half. He is absolutely 100% feeling himself right now. He truly is. Now, that being said, second half, we still got to come out here. We got to finish that job, though. We can't just rest on our morals just because we got ourselves a big lead by any means. As we'll run it up the middle here with Royal Jr. He'll pick up a few yards for us here, man. We're averaging 4 yards a carry, so not great, but, you know, we're doing our job. We're moving the chains. That's really all that you can ask for. But, man, this passing attack is really starting to come into its own. Camden 6-Killer has his 5th passing touchdown of the night. And we are just 1 score away from putting up our first 50 burger here in my high school career, man. 1 more score should do it, as we're going to bounce it to the outside, makes a man miss, and drag another guy with me. That's what our coach talks about, man. Finishing the run. And we're certainly doing that right now. We are finishing our runs, and we are finishing drives at a higher clip as well. Sampson again goes out and gets a huge bomb from deep. 6 passing touchdowns for Camden 6-Killer. He is killing the Sand Springs secondary. And after that, man, we end up going to the bench. We end up chilling for the fourth quarter. Backups got some well-deserved playing time as we end up with a big win here. Best offensive performance of the season. We win easily here, 54-28. So it wasn't a great day for us on the ground as we did finish with less than 100 yards. But as you can see, we didn't even need to do that necessarily as the passing game was definitely humming on all cylinders. And then not to mention, unfortunately, I failed to capture this, but I had a 72-yard touchdown in the game as well. I finished with 2 catches for 80 yards, so we did end up finding the end zone. Unfortunately, I could not record it because that got a little corrupted on me, but great game for us nonetheless, and a great win for our team. However, that being said, Lincoln Christian is a little bit better fundamentally sound than what we saw from that Sand Springs team in the previous game, so maybe a 50 piece will not be as realistic, but maybe we could take some things that we learned from that Sand Springs game and continue to have a great second half of the season. But late in the first quarter here, we already find ourselves down 7-0, but I get a nice little run here up the middle to get things started here. First meaningful carry of the game, I pick it up for a gain of 7 as Lincoln, they try to send the blitz and our quarterback's able to scramble out. Didn't feel some type of way about not getting the ball initially, so I'm just going to go ahead and block for my quarterback, man. Got to be that good teammate, even though, listen, if I was able to get that ball out in motion, y'all already know what time it is. That's a receiving touchdown waiting to happen. But hey, 7 points is 7 points. I'm not going to complain. We did end up missing that extra point though, like off screen. So gonna find ourselves down here 10-6, but we got a promising, well, we had a promising drive going, but we end up missing a field goal there as well. Kicker is low-key ass, but I mean, that's a lot of high school kickers nowadays. Most of your high school kickers are probably not hitting, you know, more than 30 yards out with any sort of consistency, right? So comes with the good with the bad, right? But we're going to be able to go ahead and make this catch, get upfield, and get to about the red zone where Lincoln Christian is going to decide to take a timeout. Wanted to make sure that they were ready for this 4th down play, but it don't matter though, because I'm going to run it right up the gut. I'm going to pick up that 1st down for my guys, and we have a chance to get into the end zone before the end of the first half as we try to run it inside yet again. It's a 9-yard scamper, and Lincoln Christian decides to use another timeout. Got a chance to pump it into the end zone, and we do! Touchdown, Timberwolves! And how about that, baby? We find our way into the end zone after all, and we're going to be able to cut this thing down to a 4-point game. So we got that rushing touchdown in hand, which feels so nice because it's been a little bit since I found the end zone last, but we're still down. We still got some work to do if we want to win this game. 2nd and short coming up for us though, as we're going to take the handoff real quick, find the hole up the middle, and we're going to pick up a gain of 5 as well. Another 1st down for your Timberwolves, and eventually going to culminate in me getting skinny on the way into the end zone. Another touchdown for Maurice Royal Jr. That's his 2nd rushing touchdown of the day. Not only breaking the drought, but he's starting to let it pour here, man. Just 1 touchdown away from a possible triple crown, a little bit of a hat trick that I'm hoping that we can make happen here. And of course, you know, get that win. You know, you always want to get that win as well, as we're going to go ahead and run it up the middle with Maurice Royal, who's going to find the 1st down yet again. It's a close game here, man, and those types of runs, those types of plays is how we're going to come out here and try to finish this 3rd quarter strong. We get the snap off before the end of the quarter. We pick up a 9-yard gain. It's going to take us into that 4th quarter of action, where I'm going to get the first play of the 4th quarter as Maurice Royal, man, we're going to find another 11-yard gain, and that will eventually take us, well, we end up stalling out after that, but your boy is going to make sure that we get ahead here late in the game. We take a little 2-point lead, even have a chance to go for it here on the 2-point conversion, which we do end up picking up, and thankfully our defense comes through, makes the stop for us as well, and I'm gonna ice this game here with this nice little catch right there. game is going to be over after that, as we end up taking some knees after the fact. And I get my first player of the game in the minute. Ended up with over 130 total yards. Plus, we found the end zone on 3 different occasions as well. Let's go, baby! So we end up winning the game. We also end up getting that player of the game as well. And it's just one of our best games that we've had all season long here so far. Now, with that being said, we now find ourselves on the road. Emotional victory last week. Let's see if we can get refocused here as we take on this Gufford team. This Gufford team is in our sectional, and this Blue Jay squad, they have been down horrendous this year. 1-8 going into this particular matchup, but at home, anything could absolutely happen. So we're going to go ahead and get it started here with Maurice Royal Jr., ya boy, able to pick up a gain of 9 on the first carry of the game. This is one of the weaker rush defenses in the state of Oklahoma, so if we can just do what we're supposed to do, we can absolutely feast on this defense. And I feel like early indicators show it might actually be a little bit of a Maurice Royal type game. However, that being said though, here we are late in the first half. We still got ourselves a ball game here. This Gunfrey team is not going away anytime soon. So here we are, less than 2 minutes, trying to put together a drive. I'm out in the open field, makes a man miss, but I trip over my own feet, man. That's tough, but does end up leading to a first down, and it takes us all the way down to the goal line eventually, where I will punch it into the end zone, giving your Timberwolves of Norman North High School a 17-10 lead into the half. But we even get one more chance at the ball. Gumphrey ends up going quickly free and out. This should have been a loss, but hey, we got a little bit faster as the season has gone on. So even though that was only a 6-yard gain, that's a huge positive, right? Because early in the season, that probably would have been a loss, but because we're able to turn that into a 6-yard gain, it becomes a more manageable situation, right? So, you know, just baby steps in trying to continue to get better as I progress through my freshman season. As now, here we are in this second half, still a tight game as we go with the halfback draw, and we get a wide open lane that we get to run through. Surprised that I did not pick up that first down. I thought I reached that football across, but the refs did not want to give me that one apparently, and we don't even end up picking up that first down. So draw ends up stalling out. Guffrey cannot score in return though either, so it still ends up being this really close game, like through much of the third quarter. We were off the field for when we did end up scoring next, like late in that quarter. So we do carry a 2-touchdown lead going into the final frame as Six Killer looking to pick up the first down with us, and we just get it, man. Absolutely close call. Change my route up so that we make sure that we pick up that first down. And it's going to work out beautifully for us as Six Killer is going to find our boy Devin in the end zone. Another touchdown for Norman North. And at this point, it should be an absolute formality. We know what our job is. Just make sure that we pick up this first down, and it's going to be barbecue chicken. And sure enough, there it is. We pick up that first down, able to move the sticks here once again. And anything else that happens after that, you know, it's just us trying to boost stats, right? Because Guffrey is still going to use those timeouts, even though the game is likely going to be mathematically over, right? And sure enough, Guffrey doesn't see the ball again. So we get a nice win here on the road, winning by a couple of touchdowns. But while we didn't win player of the game this time around, we did put together a pretty good performance, putting together a game where we put together 24 carries for 125 yards and finding the end zone. I believe it was late in that first half as well. And not to mention, we were also able to contribute in that passing game as well, logging 4 catches for 36 yards in our road win over Guffrey. So we only have a couple of games left here in this regular season as we now go and take on the Wildcats of Stroud High School up next. And Stroud's just trying to make sure that they can get to 500 at the end of this year we have a legitimate shot of making the state playoffs, but we gotta win these next 2 games and our sectional championship in order to make that happen. So let's see if we can go to work here midway through the first quarter, and I'm starting to understand what time it is. We're gonna go ahead and play a little bit of bully ball here, as I'm gonna get another carry here on 3rd and short, and you're not gonna deny me of that first down very easily, but I hurt myself though. We end up, and unfortunately for me, that injury was a back spasm that I had, so not only am I going to be out for the rest of this game, but there is a distinct possibility that I might even miss out on the second game as well. Just tough luck for us on the injury front in our freshman campaign. And unfortunately, unlike last time I got hurt in the middle of the game, we do not end up pulling it out this time around. So we get stunned here at home, as Stroud is likely going to thwart our chances to win state here in my freshman year. Absolutely hate to see it. But even with our departure happening well into the first half of this game, we nearly led the team in rushing. While Camden's 6-killer was decent running the ball today, nothing really came out of our backup running back today. We did not play very well either before being taken out of the game, as we finished with 7 carries and 24 yards. A little bit of a disgusting stat line, to be honest with you. But even though we did lose that critical game against Stroud, the next game that we do end up having does have sectional implications. Now, we play against the Bristol Pirates in our final game of the regular season. They have the same sectional record as we do. We're both 6-1, so we should be cleared to play. And if we can win this game, we will go on and play for the sectional championship game at the end of this regular season. Alright, man, so we got sectional championship action going here now, taking on the Pirates out of Bristol High School. Now, this Bristol High School team might be one of the better teams that we faced all season long, because while they are not ranked in the Max Preps top 25 by any means, this is a good football team, and they can absolutely give us some problems if we are not prepared for it, right? So we're going to go ahead and get to work here. Maurice Royal Jr. is going to go ahead and pick up a handful of yards there to get us started. Let's see if he gives us another carry to work with, as we're going to run it up the gut. We're going to pick up a first down, still on our feet, trying to drag the entire Bristol team. And he still technically isn't down, but the refs did blow it dead, though. He was ready to keep on going if he was allowed to, but not the case there. Is going to be facing 3rd and 5. Going to try to pick up the first down, and we get it. A nice, timely first down for us here. As now, late in the first quarter, going to run up the gut with Maurice Royal Jr. still on his feet. And it's another first down towards the end of the first quarter. Not making big plays, but making those timely plays. That's the more important thing. And just following our blocks as well, man. Just trying to trust our offense. Just trying to trust his offensive line as well. Early in the second quarter, though, I'm going to try to get out here on the flat. Oh, don't let me get stuck there. I could have gotten so much more. Probably took at least 5 to 10 yards off the table. But big play here for your boy Maurice Royal. Once again, MR2 really feeling himself, at least in the receiving game. Now, the rushing game is a little bit of a different story. We have a little bit of harder time getting that going, but hey, that being said, he can still find some juice to work with. As now, 1st and 10, as we end up settling for a field goal there. And look at this hole that we have, man. Like, that could have been a touchdown run if we had a little bit more speed. But I'm glad we take an 11-yard scamper, as well as another 15-ish yard scamper there as well. Already closing in on 100 yards at the end of the half. It just hasn't led to touchdowns yet, though. Been settling for a bunch of field goals. So hopefully we can change that here in the second half. You know, really carrying that exciting 9-0 lead, as we do officially hit that 100-yard mark with MR2. As we'll go ahead and run it up the gut, trying to find the end zone, but having a hard time following the blocks on that particular run. And after a couple of tries, we couldn't punch it in ourselves. So our quarterback, Camden Six Killer, well, he is going to handle the rest of that work. He's going to find the end zone there. Touchdown, Timberwolves. And we're going to be up 16-0. Midway through the third quarter, though, as Bristol fails to respond yet again, they do not pick up that first down. As now 16-0 lead here. We go get moved out into the motion. Gonna cut back field real quick, as initially we actually don't find any space, but found some space there and able to turn that eventually into a touchdown right before the end of the third quarter. So that being said, closing in on one more quarter of action, we have a chance to really put the nail in the coffin of this Pirates team. Now, that being said, though, I would love to find the end zone. I still haven't found the end zone yet today, but we're getting a good chunk of yards here, averaging 4.5 yards a carry. And then we also have good support from the passing game as well. Carson Sampson, he's going to make a guy miss, as he's going to find the end zone for us as well. And with 30 seconds left, coach is feeling a little spicy, so we run this score up on Bristol. Really could have taken the knee if we wanted to, but we wanted to make sure that we wanted to send a message to the rest of our sectional that we are that team, and we are certainly not to be messed with by any means. So we have that berth to the sectional championship game, but we also encroach on 150 yards rushing in this one as well. We were a bell cow for our Norman North Timberwolves, and we also found the end zone as well, which is cool to see. In addition, we did also contribute in the passing game as well. We did end up making a few catches in this ball game, ending up going 3 catches for 31 yards as well. So I thought that last game was the sectional championship. This one is actually it. The game that we previously played was actually the sectional semi-final. Now we get to get busy with it. Sectional championship game, and because we did have the best record in our section, we do get to host this sectional championship here on our campus. Now I'm coming in with a good record, 7-1 in that conference play, as we're going to go ahead and go to work. One of our first carries of the game is going to go for a good gain here. Gain of 15 on that run, as we pick up a big first down on the ground in order to get into Shawnee territory. But we got to go and make sure that we get this fourth down, and we're going to do so much more than that. Kaysen Cabinets is going to find the end zone. Touchdown, Timberwolves. And we are going to tie things up right away. So, very competitive game here in this sectional championship game, as we'll help go ahead and get it rolling here with a 3rd and long coming up, which we'll eventually pick up off screen. 1st and goal, though, our quarterback's going to drop back and find Brandon Dorney, who's going to find that end zone yet again. And our quarterback, Camden Six Killer, he is certainly feeling himself, and he is on today. But he's not perfect by any means. This is the first interception that he's thrown, at least that I have noticed, since the Ringling game. That was like the 3rd game of the season. But with that said, at least able to find ourselves later in that first half, as we end up scoring 4 separate touchdowns, and Camden Six Killer accounting for at least 3 of them, at least through the air. But with less than 2 minutes left in the half, we have a chance to make this lead even bigger, as I get a carry up the gut and pick up yet another first down, moving those chains as we start to go into that no huddle type stance, as Royal's going to run up the middle. He picks up a gain of 13 as well, as now goal line situation, trying to protect our quarterback, and I give our quarterback just enough time to throw this dot to Brandon Dorney. And that's another touchdown for Norman North, who does end up putting up 35 in the first half. So a huge lead for us here to work through in this second half. Matter of fact, if we get one more touchdown, we might even get taken out of this game and just go ahead and work with some of the backups to get them ready for the next upcoming season, you know, because we do have a fair number of seniors that will be graduating, but we'll worry about that, you know, for the next episode, right? But Royal's going to go ahead. He's going to get another handoff here. We pick up a gain of 6. And while we haven't had the same number of opportunities as maybe we would enjoy earlier in the year, we are making the most of them. And honestly, it might be for the best. We feel fresher, you know, on our carries. So we're able to be more efficient because of that. But it was a dominant day for us here, man. We dominate Shawnee in the sectional championship, 45-18 being that final score. And we're going to be able to finish our freshman year on a high note. So while we weren't the feature of today's matchup, this final game of the season, we still put together a solid performance. 21 carries for 84 yards, certainly not terrible, even with our longest run being 15 yards, which isn't bad for, you know, a goal line back like Vest. However, even though everyone else seemed like they were eating in that receiving game, not so us for us though. We only had 3 catches, and we are the only person with negative yards today, which does kind of suck, but we do at least get to end the season as sectional champions. Now, unfortunately for us, because we finished as the number 10 team in the state of Oklahoma, we did not qualify for the state playoffs. Looks like the Jenks Trojans are going to be the obvious favorite, but the Cushing Tigers, man, the Cushing Tigers are on a little bit of a Cinderella run. They were a huge underdog in the semifinal against Stillwater, and Stillwater loses. They lose to the Barn Burner 37-34. So the Cushing Tigers are going to play the Jenks Trojans for the right to be state champions here in Maurice Royal's freshman year. Now, with that being said, as a freshman, we played well enough over the course of the season to actually garner second team all-sectional honors in my first year of high school football as well, and we put together some pretty good stats over the course of the year. Nearly ran for 1,200 yards, had 9 rushing touchdowns on the ground, and then receiving wise, we had 38 receptions, 366 yards, and a touchdown through the air as well. So 10 total touchdowns in our freshman year, not bad at all. And not to mention, we actually, you know, did get those second team all sectional honors as well, which is really cool to see. And because of those efforts too, we do end up receiving some interest from the University of Arkansas. They love our work as a goal line back. And so, while we haven't officially received the scholarship offer from Arkansas, Arkansas is starting to show some interest over in our direction. But guys, that is going to come to an end for Maurice Royal's freshman year. Next time out, we're going to try to play even at a higher level in the sophomore campaign. I'm really excited to jump into things. Hope you're enjoying this little prequel to Maurice Royal Jr.'s football career life. And if you've been enjoying it, man, I need you guys to go ahead and do me an extremely big favor. I need you to go ahead and smack that like button for me. And also, if you're enjoying this little series and you have to be brand new to the channel as well, hit that subscribe button as well. Both of those things help me out tremendously. And with that being said, this is John J Gaming on the mic signing off. But hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.